How's it going, everybody? This is Joey of Underage Packers. Today, I wanted to take a look at some of the top talents on the Packers and who deserves to get that all-pro first-team recognition this year. Now, granted, it is very rare to have even more than three players on the all-pro first team for one singular team, but I think there's a lot of talent on this team, a lot of top end at their position. So let's go through it. I'll name five. I'll give you their best game of the season, all overview some of their stats, and then I'll go through a few honorable mentions. Let's start off on the offensive side of the ball. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He's somehow only been named to the first team twice in his career. Those were both his previous two MVP years in 2011 and 14. I don't think you can really name a quarterback that's having a better year than he is. Patrick Mahomes is still insane, but outside of passing yards, Rodgers has him dominated in every single stat, and there's a large fall off between Rodgers, Mahomes, and Allen. I think you got to give it to Rodgers. I think he's best quarterback in football, certainly playing at an all-pro first-team level. Moving on, number two, Davante Adams. Now, we knew Davante Adams was great, one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league, but this year he took it even more of a step up and became the best wide receiver in football. Currently, he's at 17 touchdowns, just over 1,300 yards. He is reaching up there even after missing 2.5 games. His stats are incredible. And he's just really been a centerpiece of this Packers offense, obviously. He is someone that you have to game plan against, and that's what should be so scary going into playoffs. Not only do you have to game plan for the electric Aaron Rodgers, you have to game plan for Davante Adams. It should be really exciting, but Davante Adams has certainly been the best football player at wide receiver, and he definitely deserves that all-pro nod. And our final player on the offensive side, David Bakhtiari. Now, words cannot describe how great of a football player this is. And in the offensive line, obviously nothing's going to show up on the stat sheet. But you can tell the very few times when David Bakhtiari is struggling. That Panthers game, he was a little off. Brian Burns was a really tough matchup for him. But he has been lights out every week outside of that. I couldn't name a better offensive tackle, even with my bias. We'll see if David Bakhtiari can clinch or achieve his second All-Pro nod. Alright, so for those three players on the offensive side of the ball, let's go through each of their best games. Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to have to go with this past week against Tennessee. Take away that interception, and Rodgers only has 3 incompletions and 4 touchdowns. Absolutely insane game. Davante Adams has sure put together quite a few good games between San Fran Week 7, Minnesota Week 1, and this past week against Tennessee. Absolutely insane performances, all over 140 yards. All including some insane touchdowns, 3 this past week against Tennessee, 2 in Minnesota. What a great season for Davante Adams. I couldn't tell you his best game. Offensive lineman, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think I'm going to either go with versus Chicago or versus Indy for David Bakhtiari. 2 very tough defensive lines, able to hold DeForest Buckner along with Elton Jenkins on that right next to him. So incredible stuff from David Bakhtiari, putting together an all-pro season once again. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. 2 guys in the secondary. I don't think we ever expected to be saying that about the Green Bay Packers defense, but let's start off. Adrian Amos, brought him in here after the 2018 season, was a great addition in 2019, pairing him up with Darnell Savage. He once again took another step in the 2020 season. Now one of the top safeties in the league, one of the top safeties the Packers have had in a while, pairing him with Darnell Savage, absolutely incredible, absolute great level of play from Adrian Amos. He's not a ball hawk, but he's going to break up some passes. He's going to stop the run. When he has opportunities, sometimes he can get after the passer. I love what Adrian Amos has done so far this season. His best game for me has to be against Carolina 2 weeks ago. I mean, he had, 6 pass breakups, was all over the field. You couldn't get enough of him. Ever since October, after that Vikings loss, even in that game, he played pretty decently. He played a really good game. But ever since midway point of the season, he's been playing lights out. And finally, on the defense, cornerback Jair Alexander. Now, for a third-year player, he's put out a season that nobody could have expected here. Lockdown corner, I mean, at the start of the year, he was shutting down Calvin Ridley, Will Fuller. Back-to-back weeks, he was shutting down all these wide receivers, these top wide receivers. And, you can make your argument about the Packers not playing any good teams, but they have certainly faced some excellent wide receivers just in the past 2 weeks, having to go against DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Now here against A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Allen Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Some insane wide receiver talent going against the Packers, and we haven't heard a peep from them. I mean, can you name a game where a wide receiver has killed us? I couldn't. So Jair Alexander, a great season for him. Hopefully we can get him locked up 2 years from now if we sign his fifth-year option, because I want him to be a Green Bay Packer forever. My best game for Jair would probably be that Carolina game again. I mean, that defense came to play last week, week 15 against Carolina. Love what I saw from him. And we'll see. It would be pretty surprising to see a third-year player get All-Pro recognition, but I would not be surprised as well if Jair is a rare exception to that. All right, let's end it off with some honorable mentions. On the offense, I mentioned him earlier, Elgton Jenkins. Now, I mean, just the fact, you take away that he's been playing excellent at left guard this year, but also the fact that he can play center, he can play right guard, all along the offensive line. He can play at least Pro Bowl level. He can play left guard and center at a All-Pro level. Once again, with such a young player, I don't see him getting that All-Pro recognition just yet, but he's certainly been playing like it, and if he can continue on this trajectory, take a few more steps, he should be one of the best offensive linemen in football and one of the best offensive linemen in Packers history, which is quite the lofty group. Another offensive lineman honorable mention for the Packers would be Corey Linsley, another guy that's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but you could really feel his loss when he was out for those 3 weeks. Elgton Jenkins did a great job filling in for him, but you take away one guy out of the lineup, you start moving pieces around, and everybody gets weaker. Corey Linsley's loss was certainly felt this year. He's done great. I mean, Andy Herman brought it up with Aaron Nagler this past week. Can you remember a time when Corey Linsley just straight up got beat? Was there a time when he had to go up against some great defensive tackles where they plowed through him? I cannot name you a time. Corey Linsley, great part of the Packers offensive line, which as a whole, as a unit, has been great this year. And finally, one more honorable mention that I don't see happening would be defensive tackle Kenny Clark. Now, a lot of people like to give him crap because he only plays good in December, but I mean, I won't say he's playing bad August or September, October, November, but he really turns the wheels on, turns the motors on come December when it matters. He's been a great mainstay, playing like his contract. I'm really excited to see him into those playoff stretch. Hopefully we can get our young, newly paid Kenny Clark not only $70 million for the next 4 years, but at least get him one ring this year. That's where we're going to end it off to everybody. We all know Hunter Bradley is going to get it, so I didn't mention them today. But thanks, everybody, for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at JoeyGPG. Follow us at Underage Packers on Twitter at Underage Packers Pod. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I can't say that enough. Go, Pack, go.